Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 49 of the HooperCast. I'm Hooper, and it is December 31st, 2013. So, hopefully we're not quite all the way through January as this hits your ears.
Yes.
Hello, Dustin.
Hello, Hooper.
How are you?
I'm quite well. I'm glad to see 2013 come to an end.
Yeah.
Excited for the new year.
Indeed. How was your Christmas?
It was good. I can't complain. I got this Walter White figure.
Yeah.
He's now sitting on my desk, or I'm sorry, not my desk, but my shelf with all my Breaking Bad Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes like a really cool, like, Breaking Bad themed section in my shelf. It's really awesome.
That's cool.
And yeah, he's pretty cool. He comes with money and a bag of meth. So it's a little creepy that they sold it at Toys R Us.
Really?
They did.
Wow.
So any 8-year-old can just go get a toy bag of meth.
That's awesome. He's right there next to Sonic the Hedgehog and Bugs Bunny.
He is. He's right next to my Tri-Wizard Cup and Gandalf.
Oh, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. I used to have a similar figure that was Goku doing the Kamehameha.
Yeah.
If I still had him, and then I also had Walter White, I put them together.
That would be awesome.
But those are two
Walter
things
White
that don't
would win that fight.
Yeah, those are two things I don't have anymore though. That's like saying, well, if I had a speedboat, I put it next to the pirate ship I also don't have. In the lake and dock I don't own. Next to the buried money that I haven't accumulated. So.
Yes.
Yep. Well, check out the listeners cannot see this, but check out my mug.
Oh, it says Dad.
It says Daddy.
Oh.
It just says Daddy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's cute. I
awesome.
bought it, but well, I gave Mrs. Hooper one that says Mom, and so I bought the dad one.
So it matches.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Although it is a little bit like Michael Scott buying himself the world's best boss mug.
Yeah, but I knew like if I bought her the mom mug, then she'd be like, now we have to get the dad mug. So I just
Exactly.
thought, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead.
That's a good gift.
Yeah, it is. If I do say so myself.
I'm sure she loves it.
She did. So the day I actually went and bought it, we had talked about how we have too many mugs, and I was like, well, I'm gonna get us 2 more mugs. So sorry. I was hoping that she wouldn't get to see the mug and be like, I said no more mugs, and just smash it on the wall. Like,
no!
Now clean it up. I think I told you about the Breaking Bad book that she got me too. The Breaking Bad and Philosophy, and that's been fun to read so far.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, and if people don't know about it, it's basically just like some publisher has like a series of books. Like there's Seinfeld and philosophy, and then there's a lot of shows and philosophy, just kind of explaining, in Breaking Bad's case, like morality and like direct and indirect responsibility, culpability, just a bunch of like philosophical concepts that they explain using the show as their kind of running example. So it makes me interested in getting the ones on other shows I've seen, but not even like other anti-hero shows, because I imagine if they had The Sopranos and philosophy, it'd be kind of the same as Breaking Bad or The Shield and philosophy. Just the anti-hero philosophy.
Have you seen much of The Shield, by the way?
I've started watching it. So I'm about halfway through the first season. I really like it.
Yeah, I saw the complete series on sale at Movie Stop for like $36, and I almost bought it. I didn't do it, but
whoa.
Yeah, but I was like, I just don't know if I wanted to start it. You know what I mean?
Go get
it.
Like, yeah, that's.
I should go back and see if they still have it.
Yeah, it's good so far. I realized my wife told me like a million times, but I realized I was like, oh wow, we can watch instant video on Amazon here, and she was like, yeah, we have a Prime account. I've told you this so many times. I was like, but even though when you figure it out, it's still like new.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy crap, we do. So, and then she ended up winning like a raffle to get an iPad.
Cool.
So I now have an iPad, so I can pop on there, and I added a crap load of stuff to our watch list. So I have even a particular weird order, because it's the only way I can tackle a big list of things to watch is. I have to prescribe an order, so it's a movie, and then it's an episode of a serialized drama, and then it's an episode of something comedic, and then it's an episode of like a reality show. So I'll pick, whatever movie on the list I want to watch, and then I'll watch an episode of The Shield. And then right now I'm tackling Eastbound and Down. And then after I do that, I watch Deadliest Catch.
Ah,
and then,
sweet.
if I still have time, I'll watch an episode. I'll just watch whatever I want next, like a wild card. And so I'm trying to catch up on Sons of Anarchy on there, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But if I did get another philosophy book, it would probably be the Seinfeld one. Or if they have one I imagine that and the Always Sunny one is probably similar, too. Just terrible people doing horribly reprehensible things.
Yes.
If you ever read the Wikipedia for Always Sunny in Philadelphia, about the characters, that's pretty fun too. Yeah, and she got me that and this Doctor Who kind of compendium,
cool
book. So that's cool. And
Sure.
yeah. What if you? I'll answer this because I'll answer my own question first, and then I'll let you talk, Dustin.
No. Well, it is your podcast. So.
I'll put you in a box.
I guess that's fair.
Oh, it's yours too, Dustin.
Oh.
Just not as much as it's mine.
No.
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 That's
How dare you take this from me?
It's like when a parent gives a toy to the kids and then the older one's like, but it's more mine than yours. And the other kid's like, but there's no basis. That's just a subjective thing you're saying, older brother. I'm an incredibly verbose young child. We watched, we finally got through the Doctor Who Christmas special yesterday. And so we saw the regeneration into the next Doctor. And it was, most of the regenerations are they take a long time to happen, and then he does the whole, I don't know how much you know, at least about what it looks like, but his skin glows, and then it shoots out his hands and out of his head, and so he's just standing there with this light emitting from him basically. And of course in the original series, they're lower budget, so that it doesn't look that much. So when Eccleston went into David Tennant, it was kind of sudden, but it wasn't very powerful. When David Tennant regenerated, it there was enough sonic force that it was breaking parts of his ship. And with this one, not to give away plot elements, but if you ever get around to the show, you'll forget this by the time you get to this point. And if you're not going to watch it, who cares? So he basically regenerates so powerfully, he's shooting the beams at a spaceship, and I turned and looked at Mrs. Hooper, and I was like, these get more and more violent every time he regenerates. The more it just shoots out with incredible energy, but then you see him again and he's still him, so you're like, what, is he not gonna regenerate? And then all of a sudden he just sort of pops back, and then when he comes back up it's a different face, and it's Peter Capaldi, so he just has this weird quizzical look on his face, and so it was very sudden and it freaked me out. I was like, ah! And just kind of moved back. And so when we finished the special, I showed her the Malcolm Tucker, basically all the F words in the loop that he says. Yeah. Because we just see him going do you know how to fly this ship? And then 2 minutes later, he's cursing out people and it's funny. And I was like, that's the Doctor now. So
yes.
I wish he would swear more in the show as Peter Capaldi, but he won't. So
no, he won't.
Anyway, what have you watched lately, Dustin?
Well, I started Justified. I don't know if you've seen any of that.
I've seen a couple episodes, and then I fell off of it for no real reason. That's back on my list. Probably after I finish, after I catch up on Sons of Anarchy, I'll probably start on Justified. See,
I've just watched the first two, and I'm debating on whether or not to keep going. Not because it's not interesting, because it is, but because I'm wondering how well crafted it's going to be, because I'm 2 episodes in and I don't know who the main characters are. The only one I know is Timothy Oliphant and his he's got a couple of partners at the precinct and then his boss, and I assume they're all going to be series regulars, but all the other people I just don't know. If you look back at Breaking Bad or pretty much any pilot, they make it pretty clear who the main characters are going to follow for the series are.
That's one of the things The Shield does really well. You were introduced to Vic Mackey and his strike team first episode. You know what they're all about. Everyone in the station, there have not really been any new characters I've seen yet, and
oh really?
Because it starts off really well established.
Right. Well, I mean, think about Breaking Bad. Like, in that first episode, I mean, obviously there's no Saul, and some of the other characters kind of come in later, too, but you get the basics. I mean, Walt and his family, and there you go.
Yeah.
And Jesse. And so, but with this, you know, I'm just worried that, like, I don't want to get sucked into it if it's going to disappoint me in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And so I start looking at shows now, and I guess it's probably just from Breaking Bad, like, getting used to being absorbed by a show so much, and like letting it kind of like build in me, you know what I mean, like Breaking Bad did. So I'm worried that I'll get hooked on a show that won't deliver, like Breaking Bad, you know, always did. So anyway, there's that. I saw The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Ooh.
I saw American Hustle.
Ooh.
And, yeah, I've been kind of, you know,
trying
to catch up on movies. What was that?
The devil's hands have been busy.
Yes.
That always sounded dirty to me, by the way.
Well, it does sound dirty.
Yeah.
Very. But no, I'm trying to catch up on movies because there's a lot out in December that I want to see.
Yeah.
And I just haven't done it. Like, I saw The Hobbit, and then I was like, okay, that was the big one. And then, like, all these other ones, like, I still want to see a few of them, but, you know, it's just a matter of actually getting around and doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to knock them off, and if we're still planning on doing the best of list, I'd like to try to get through my list before we kind of hammer that out. But yeah, I think I've got like 2 more I want to see. But
yeah.
So
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I well, I watched Tomb Raider the other day.
How was that experience?
It was very boring.
Yeah.
It was very boring. Like, I had to...
I don't remember much about that. Isn't Daniel Craig in that movie?
Yeah, and he's an American, and Angelina Jolie's English, so it's kind of weird to see them going opposite there.
Very weird.
Yeah, he's going like, come on, Laura, let's go. And you're just kind of like, the same kind of like, the same kind of American accent he has in Road to Perdition.
Yeah,
it's like, it's not really from any particular region. It's just, it's a British guy trying to sound American. And it wasn't really that bad, but it's just weird seeing James Bond speak in an American accent. So
right.
Her English one was really good, though. But the action was just kind of dumb. It was just like...
Yeah.
I don't know, especially nowadays where a lot of our action is not done with lots of wire work anymore.
Yeah.
You know, the more it looks like it's actually being done, the more I like it. And it's a lot of like twisty, like, you know, firing a billion bullets from, you know, 2 pistols that don't have that many bullets in them.
Right.
And like statues coming to life and trying to kill her because she's an archaeologist. It's just kind of weird. So I don't know if I'm gonna watch the sequel. I don't know. I was adding stuff to my queue and I kept passing it, and I knew like I'm not gonna enjoy this, but I have one. It's one of those movies that you know you're gonna see at some point. And I was just like, well, God, I'll just throw it on there. And so the other day I was like, all right, fine, I'll watch it. And I ended up like reading Wikipedia articles about Angelina Jolie's involvement in, like, you know, the Goodwill Ambassador stuff, like, during the whole movie. Because nothing was happening. It was just boring. Right. It was so boring. Yeah. You can't watch it with your whole attention.
Right.
So,
yeah, I don't remember much about it, so that should tell you something.
Yeah, there's nothing to remember, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So I plan to keep, you know, to hammer away at it again this weekend. I usually have time on the weekends to kind of catch up on this stuff, and so I've started. That's kind of where I get my watch time done. So I don't even know what's next on my list for movies. It's just whatever. Oh, that same day I watched, or maybe it was Saturday. I watched Con Air again, and that movie surprisingly holds up. Like, that movie's really fun. It's just fun. I don't know. If you like it to begin with, like, it's amazing how much... like, I was thinking about it. I was like, I've seen this movie, like, at least 3 or 4 times on television, and then once more, like, on rental. And I thought, okay, so I know every inch of this movie. I know how it ends. But, like, every minute is interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be honest, though. I've never seen it.
It's worth watching.
I've seen bits and pieces on TV, but I never come in, like, I always come in, like, in the middle, so it's like, I'll just watch it some other time. I never get around to catching the whole thing.
It's really fun, actually. It's a really fun movie. I'm surprised. Like, everyone makes fun of it because it's not even that bad. Like, it's just as good as any other movie that was released around that time.
Right.
Like, if it had come out in, like, the mid-'80s, I would have said, this is really good for an 80s action movie. But I think it came out in, like, the mid-'90s or something.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Upon re-examining it, not bad.
Yeah.
This has been Hooper's, decade-old reviews.
We should do retro reviews.
That will probably be solely my job. Because, like, you'll talk about whatever just came out that you saw, and I'll be like, well, here's 3 things I rented this week, and here's what I think of them.
Right.
Our budget can really stretch to the rental market, I think.
Yes.
Our budget, like we have a budget at all. Have the Oscar nominations been released yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Anything like Golden Globe, anything like that?
I think maybe the Golden Globes, but I haven't been keeping up with it.
I feel like everyone is nominating 12 Years a Slave. Everyone keeps talking about how good 12 Years a Slave is. And it's kind of a moot point because I know neither of us have seen it.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, like, when any one movie comes out and everyone says, oh, it's just amazing, it's transformative, it usually isn't that transformative. So I keep wondering if a lot of critics are saying it's so good because they feel guilty because it's about slavery and it's like a really graphic film about slavery. So I'm wondering, like who wants to be the white critic who comes out and says 12 Years a Slave wasn't that good? And then boom, Al Sharpton will be right there and telling him that he's a racist. So I haven't seen it. I don't plan to see it in theaters. Movies about people getting beaten generally don't appeal to me. They put me in a better mood because then I'm like, well, at least I'm not being beaten. So I feel better now. But those 2 hours were, I don't know. I feel like most movies where someone's in, 12 Years a Slave. So it's all about him being a slave. So most of the movie, I'm watching him being a slave. I'm not really into spending my time watching that.
Right, sure.
So, I don't know. At least in Django, you knew, like, okay, well, he's going to shoot a lot of people, and it'll be fun to watch. But I don't know. I've sort of had my fill with movies depicting, not because of Django, but I've long had my fill of movies, depicting slavery or incarceration, that doesn't have that much of a twist on it. And when it's I don't know. I've heard everyone's good, and I plan to rent it at some point. But a long time from now. Like, I'm not going to look at the shelf and pick 12 Years a Slave over Ender's Game to watch for my leisure.
True.
So.
Well, I do want to see it. I think, but I think you have a point. Like, generally, movies that revolve around historical, time periods, especially, like, movies about slavery or the Holocaust or, periods where many people were mistreated, generally kind of thrive on, like, showing you graphically what was going on for the shock value and then saying, look, wasn't it wrong? And it's like, well, yeah, but we know that already.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows. And if they don't know, then they're not going to be seeing this movie. You know what I mean? So it's like how many neo-Nazis are watching Schindler's List? Not many. Yeah. And so anyway, the point is I kind of see where you're coming from. It's a lot of times just kind of retreading territories that you already are aware of.
That'd be really awkward seeing Schindler's List with a neo-Nazi. Like, if you realize you turn over and the guy next to you has a swastika on his head, and you're sitting there crying, and he's looking at you like, what? This is awesome. And you're like, dude.
Whoa, leave now.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, this kind of ruined my experience? I was having a really emotional experience, but the guy next to me was just, texting, didn't care.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
There's an episode of Seinfeld where Jerry is making out with his girlfriend during Schindler's List. And everybody finds out about it. His mother gets real mad at him. It's funny. To change the subject a little bit, did you see the trailer for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes?
Damn it, I did not. Oh wait, no, I saw a teaser. Like most of it zoomed out from Caesar's eyes. Is there an actual trailer now?
Yeah, there's like a teaser that has like Gary Oldman talking about stuff, and yeah, and that's just Gary Oldman generally just being Gary Oldman. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which that guy's in everything now. Like you see like a big budget film, he's pretty much in it.
Yeah,
I need to go to his IMDb page because
figure out how many projects he's in.
Well, I saw a trailer for something the other day when I saw American Hustle. Oh, RoboCop. Yeah, he's in RoboCop.
Really?
Yeah, he is.
Wow.
But the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes trailer looks really good, and really makes me want to see the movie. Not that I didn't. I just, I wasn't like super excited about it, but now I kind of am.
I also saw Paranormal Activity 4. Just, cause.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's I will give it to these movies. I still can't really I have to sort of multitask during them because not because I'm scared, but I'm not scared of nothing. But but it really is because like it is filmed in a way to make you jump. So at a certain point, even if it doesn't scare you, it's gonna make you go, huh. And I'm not really interested in staring at the screen forever for someone to pop out in front of me and make me jump. I'm more, I don't know. I don't like those little whatevers, but
the little jump scares.
I don't like jump scares because it's almost like it's kind of like when someone says, "Oh, what's on your shirt?" "Oh, gotcha," and they like flick your nose. Yeah, and it's like you're not funny. You just got me to look down because I thought there was something on my shirt. You asshole.
See, I'm a jumpy person anyway, so I jump during movies even when you're not supposed to jump, and then like. I mean, I would be like in my room, and Kellen would come up behind me and be like, "Hey," and I'd jump, and all I did was say, "Hey," like in a normal tone, and so that's just me. But I can still honestly say I've never seen a scary movie. I've jumped all the time in movies, but I've never seen one that legitimately like scared me.
Yeah, it was. I have no intention of seeing the marked ones. I just. Again, it was on my list, and it was essentially free, so I just...
Right.
Yeah. Someone, I guess, it's not really off topic, but I saw somebody posted the other day. I think it was Sam Donches. They posted someone else's review of 47 Ronin, and with an excerpt from, like, a quote from it, and the writer had called it the second worst thing to happen to Japan in this century.
Ooh. Wow. Wow.
Apparently someone really, really hated it.
Apparently.
We did a whole, for the news, we had a whole package on 47 Ronin, in the 4 o'clock, where a lot of national stuff is. And so Fox or CNN had done some 2-minute story on it, like a preview, 47 Ronin. And then, they're just talking about it. And I was like, really? We don't have a preview for American Hustle or anything? 47 Ronin? I don't know why. I don't know if it was produced by Fox Studio, if it was distributed by Fox, and that's why they have,
right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hear it's bad, but then again, I also heard somebody at the theater when I saw Walter Mitty saying, "Hey, man, did you see 47 Ronin yet?" And the guy was like, "No," and he goes, "Oh, man, it's so awesome, you got to see it." And I was like, I don't know if I can trust you.
Yeah. I mean, a guy at work yesterday... he talked about, we finally got to go out and see a movie. My fiance and I went to go see a movie. I was like, what'd you see? And he was like, Saving Mr. Banks. And I was like, oh, yeah, how'd you like it? He goes, it was really good, man. And not to crap on that one either, but I didn't, this is what he thought versus what some critic thought, but I kept hearing that Mr. Banks was just okay. It was kind of, it seemed like one of those where they really dramatized what was a true story that didn't have that much drama in it.
Yeah.
It's about trying to get Mary Poppins made into the movie, right?
Right.
Which I thought the real event didn't really have that much red tape in it.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know much about it, but
it made me wonder. It made me think back on that fake poster for Walt that had Ryan Gosling on it.
Yeah.
Where you're like, God, I just wish they'd go ahead and make a movie about Walt. I mean, if you're going to have Walt Disney as a character in a movie. Why don't you just go ahead and make a Walt movie?
Yeah. I think the thing is there's still, like, because if they made a Walt Disney movie, it'd have to be put out by the Walt Disney Company. And I think they're probably a little scared of how to portray him because on one hand, like, you don't want to portray him as, like, just a hero. Because if he never does anything wrong, then what's the movie about?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if he does something wrong, like...
Or they're afraid of hurting their image, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So I was talking to John about it, and John saw it, and he liked it a lot. And said, obviously, like, Tom Hanks doesn't look like Walt, but he kind of gets his mannerisms down and just sort of the general feeling that Walt had about him. And so John liked it a lot, but yeah, we were talking about whether or not Disney would put out a Walt, like, biopic. And, yeah, if so, I feel like it would be a long time from now. Although John did admit that they did show Walt... like smoking and drinking and things that like saying and doing things that you wouldn't think Disney the company would let them show.
Yeah, I feel like
so maybe they're willing. I don't know.
Obviously, like Disney would have the sole would no one I don't think legally can make a movie about him besides Disney anyway. I don't think so, at least.
Yeah.
Unless it was based on some material that... Well, no, because any existing material that they based off of would be owned by Walt's estate, so it wouldn't... Yeah, it would have to be through Disney. And even if it didn't have to be through them, it'd be important that they would do it. Because if someone else showed, like, an unflattering portrait of Walt Disney, it's almost like when if I say something like... I don't know, like I don't know, like what I said about 12 Years a Slave. Like, if like, do people really like it, or do they just feel guilty because they're white and their ancestors may or may not have, owned slaves? Therefore, this movie is important and good. You could look at that and say, like, that's a really racist thing to say. And I'd say, like, well, if I was such a racist, do you think I'd feel comfortable saying a questionably racist statement out loud? Wouldn't I keep it to myself? I don't think you say... It's like comedians. If they really felt the way they felt about half the controversial things they'd say, they wouldn't say them. They wouldn't put them into their act because they wouldn't want to come under fire for it. So I don't know. I think that if Disney put out the movie with it would have to be ultimately sympathetic because he's Walt. But if you put these things out and people said... I don't know. Your founder, he drank a lot and smoked a lot. What do you think of that? At least if I'm Disney, I'm thinking if I was really worried about what you thought of Walt, then why would we have taken, been on the front lines of this movie? Like, why would we have put it out if we were afraid of what you thought? So I don't think anybody's thinking that right now. I don't think anybody thinks Disney's probably afraid to put out a movie about Walt. I think they're just they got other stuff and why rush it? You have the rights indefinitely, so it's not like you have to do it soon.
Exactly, this is true.
I don't know. I think
Although I do think Ryan Gosling would be pretty, like right on the money for Walt.
Yeah, he'd be a good Walt.
Yeah,
he's got the I think it looks enough like him at least.
Yeah. To play a young Walt, I can see that.
You're probably not gonna see Anchorman 2 while it's out in theaters, are you?
I'd like to, but at the same time, like, it's probably really stupid and it's $11.
You're right. Yeah.
So I'm not against it. I want to see it. I just don't know that I want to spend $11 to see it.
Comedies are the kind of thing that are always the most disappointing if you don't like them in theaters. Because, alright, I spent the money and this is supposed to be funny and it's not funny and boring.
I generally don't see the Apatow movies or, any...
Yeah.
I generally don't watch a lot of comedy in theaters because of that exact reason. Like,
I don't anymore, and it started with the reason it started was because I didn't have most of my friends didn't live here, so like I didn't really have anybody to go see it with, and I don't like seeing comedies by myself.
Right.
generally, unless I've rented them and I'm at home and okay, I'm gonna watch it. But especially I don't spend $11 to see something that I'll later wonder if I would have liked better with someone.
Right.
Yeah, I can see anything else in theaters by myself because I prefer to, basically.
Right.
But
yeah,
if it's a comedy, I'd rather watch it with someone because I can't laugh by myself. I can enjoy it, but there are many times where I laugh out loud by myself because even if it's from something funny, I feel weird for. I don't know, I feel like I'm talking to an imaginary friend and he just told me a joke, and it makes me feel kind of crazy.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of the same way. Every now and then something will catch me off guard, and I'll laugh pretty loud. But for me, like, I think I prefer comedy when it doesn't try to be goofy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I like to find something like Breaking Bad or whatever that has comedy in it, but it is not a comedy.
Yeah.
As opposed to something that is constantly trying to make you laugh. Because those are the movies that end up disappointing you the most. So, if we're talking about something like, what's the last Apatow movie that came out?
This is 40.
Okay, I didn't see that. Curses.
Crap.
Dang, I don't even know. Anyway, the point is, let's just use Anchorman, because I put in the first Anchorman recently and watched through it, and it is so stupid. And at a certain point, like you just get sick of being like spoon-fed jokes. Yeah. At least I do. Where it's like, okay, I've been sitting here for 2 hours, and it's still, or an hour and a half, or whatever it is, and you're still just feeding me jokes, and I don't know. I like for comedy to arise out of the situations and of the story, and rather than just have Will Ferrell be goofy, oh, I'm off the wall, yes, it's funny, but I generally get sick of it after an hour and a half. Yeah. If that makes sense.
It's kind of like...
that's why I like sitcoms. It's 20 minutes and you're done,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it's kind of like... It's like two different types of girl. It's like the one who puts on like a ton of makeup, but she really doesn't have that much interesting things to say. And the chick who just kind of like pins it back in a ponytail and like, has, is just kind of witty. It's like, I prefer you.
That's a good analogy, because that's exactly what it is. It's the comedies that are coming out now try so hard to be comedy. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that. That's why I like the earlier episodes of The Office better than the later ones, because the earlier ones, the comedy was subdued and it just kind of came naturally. Yeah. And later it was, what goofy shenanigans can Michael get himself into? Uh-huh. And it can still be funny, especially in 20-minute increments. But no, that's a good point. I like that.
That's actually a good. That's actually an interesting theory. Because come to think of it, I don't really buy. I definitely don't buy. The last comedy I bought was 21 Jump Street, and that was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Like, I don't generally buy or rent that many. And if I rent them, it's because they're I rented This Is the End. Started the last comedy I rented because I was like, I want to see them all in the movie together, and I'm renting it. So, but no, you're right. I think I usually prefer drama anyway. But dramas, the comedy beats in drama are usually a lot better. Yes. And they come at a much better time. Yeah. Yeah.
And because at that point, like the best comedy for me comes after a dramatic moment. Because if it's a comedy moment and then another comedy moment, then it's like, well, are they both funny, or was one funnier than the other? And you're kind of like just really nitpicking at that point. You know what I mean? But then when you have like a drama moment and then a comedy moment, then they're two different moments, and so they can both stand alone, and it doesn't feel like repetitive.
What do you think is which? Let's go with TV. What TV show did you think had the best use of comedy that wasn't a comedy?
that wasn't a comedy?
Yeah, that wasn't like a comedy show.
Well, I'm going to have to go with Breaking Bad. I mean, granted, anytime you say best TV something something, I'm going to say Breaking Bad probably.
Yeah.
But the fact is, like, Breaking Bad had these moments with, like, Skinny Pete and Badger and Saul and Huel and all of these moments that are hilarious, not to mention the moments with Jesse and Walt himself. It's just, like, the perfect blend of comedy and drama. And the comedy comes, you know, the perfect moment and with the perfect characters. And I don't know. I'm just going to have to say Breaking Bad because it's the only show that can use an episode to be nothing but dramatic, just dramatic across the board, and then have like an interlude with Skinny Pete and Badger talking about, you know, Star Trek or Nazi zombies or, you know, whatever, and it be just hilarious and a brilliant break from the drama. Or if you look at the Star Trek thing that they did in the last season, they were like arguing, or I think Badger was talking about his idea for a Star Trek story or something. And all the while you see Jesse like not laughing. And so it is a drama moment, but it's still funny. It's both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You are propelling Jesse's story in a dramatic way through the use of a comedic moment. And that, I think, sets it apart.
Yeah. Breaking Bad's a good choice.
What do you say?
My vote's probably The Sopranos, I think.
Okay.
I think
The Sopranos is great too.
The Sopranos would probably be my number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I was watching...
I feel like The Sopranos... Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I was watching, like, HBO had a good tribute to James Gandolfini. So it was like a 35-minute, you know, so all the people were there. And so that was pretty sad. It wasn't like that was hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
But I was thinking about these moments in the show, and I was just like, every scene with Tony Sirico is funny. Like, every scene with any of them, like, to some degree, it's funny. Like, even watching him get angry was funny.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt The Sopranos was probably my choice, and you've seen the show, so I think you know what I mean.
No, I completely agree. I think that's a great choice. And for me, like, I don't know if it's just me, but when I watch The Sopranos, a lot of times I find humor in things that probably weren't supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
Like you were just saying, like when he gets angry or whatever. They probably didn't intend for that to be funny, but it kind of is. And anything Tony Sirico says ever is hilarious to me.
Like even in the special, they had Tony Sirico at like the Wounded Warrior Project, and he's making like a speech about how he's like, we play tough guys on TV, but these are the real, you know, he does that little like kind of blinky like nod, like these are the real heroes, and he was saying it with complete profundity, but it reminded me of moments in the show where he's just talking out of his ass, and you're supposed to and you're supposed to laugh because he's being so pretentious, and it was hard to separate it. I was like, this is like a serious event, and it's important, but I couldn't help but laugh because it's just because he's funny. He's wearing a suit, he's got the wings, like he's just
he's Paulie.
Yeah, he's just funny to look at. So he just it was too good.
Did you watch any of him on Family Guy recently?
You know, I didn't. I saw a little bit of it. I was kind of confused by what was going on because it seemed like... So they decide they're going to kill Brian. So they kill him. And then the Griffins decide that they need to move on, so they get a new dog, and it's Tony Sirico.
Right.
And then it looks like they're like, oh crap, everyone's really mad we killed Brian. Let's bring Brian back. But I haven't been watching, so I don't know the context at all. Have you been keeping up?
Yeah, well, kind of. Just that little arc there. But basically, I mean, Brian died and then came back 2 episodes later. So they never intended for it to be for real. Like, basically, Brian and Stewie go on this adventure, and it's a time-traveling thing. And then, anyway, it ends with Brian getting run over by a car, and he dies. And so... then, but you know, like maybe the layman who doesn't really know much, fell for it. But you know, like Brian's not dead.
Wow.
There's no way.
Because all my friends, like even people who've been watching the show for years, it seemed like they were like, "R.I.P. Brian!" Like, I can't believe they killed Brian. Like, people were freaking out, at least on my Facebook, and I was like,
I saw a guy. I saw like I guess it was on Failblog or something. Like somebody posted on Facebook where some guy got a "Rest in Peace Brian" tattoo on his arm.
What a dumbass!
Yeah, and then 2 weeks later, he's right back in the show. I'll never forget those 2 weeks where I thought he was dead.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they killed Brian and then they brought him right back. But in the meantime, like the Griffins got this new dog, and the new dog is Tony Sirico, and he is maybe a part of the mob. Right. It just seems that way.
Allegedly.
And but it's hilarious. Like, I'm sorry, I like that dog way more than Brian. Just in the episodes he was in, he's so funny. And anyway, props to Tony Sirico, because that guy just nailed it. And I guess he was just playing himself, but still, it was funny.
Yeah, he doesn't really need to play anybody else. He's just funny by himself.
No,
he's just funny.
He was talking about like growing up, and he was like, there used to be a guy down the street who was different from us, so I beat the crap out of him till he was the same as everybody else. And it's just like this long joke where he's talking about we broke his legs, and I don't know, it's just funny. Just funny to me.
Oh man, I was thinking the other day.
You start screaming.
Oh damn it! Really?
Yeah.
All right, maybe we should just put it to bed. Okay, at this point, my audio track completely cut out, so Dustin couldn't...
Yeah, I can't understand a word you're saying.
Yeah, Dustin couldn't understand me, so here's the part where it comes back, basically. Have a nice day, and we'll have our top 5 podcasts soon.
Are you signing off? Nod if yes. Bye, everybody. Have a good day. I don't know what Hooper just told you, so I'm afraid I'm going to reiterate the same points. But we're going to have our top 5, maybe? Top 10 soon. And did you just say that?
I just said all
because you're nodding.
Yeah.
You're nodding. Okay, yes.
Can't hear me at all.
Okay, well, goodbye, everybody.
Right, Dustin?
What?
He can't hear what I'm saying at all. He doesn't know what I'm saying. Dustin thinks I'm saying something funny or
you're welcome.
Something not.
Did you say thank you? You're welcome.
Gooba gabba gabba.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. I hate you, Dustin. I hope you die.
Thank you.
He doesn't know what I'm saying. All right. Bye, Dustin. I hate you. Hang yourself.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.